taking its time. Hold on.
Now you're live.
Yay, we're live and in person at the Social Media Breakfast Houston. And today our guest is Betsy Ellison, and she is with, and I'm going to say this wrong every time, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. But on Twitter, it is Rodeo Houston. So like at Rodeo Houston. And today our hashtag is SMBHOU. My name is Cami Huiza, and I am the host of the Social Media Breakfast, and I'm glad to be here with you today. And Betsy has really taken the Rodeo Houston accounts, both on Twitter and Facebook, and turned them into really community pages in large part. So we're going to talk to her today about how to kind of take an event, which is usually once a year, and make it be something that can pay dividends year-round, and how you can build on that. So nice to have you here today, Betsy.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So my first question for you is sort of, can you just give us an idea of how long you've been with the rodeo and sort of how you've grown this role and how many, you just kind of give us a background of how you got to this point.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me this morning. I have been with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo for going on 5 years now. I started as the communications coordinator back in May of 2011 and was running the social media accounts along with some consultants that we work with, and was doing all kinds of other sort of editorial work, writing, press releases, that type of thing. And then about 2 years into that, when social media really kind of became a necessity, not only was it already a necessity, but we had to grow it. We had to make sure that we had somebody on there constantly. They moved me into a new position of social media manager, which we'd never had before. And that was in 2013. So I've been doing that for about 2 years now. And yeah, we've just massively grown. You know, we're the world's largest livestock show and rodeo. And so we already have such a great fan base, but to build that fan base online has been really fun to watch, to be a part of, and to communicate with all of our great fans and kind of show them what we can do.
So I'm going to break this down into 3 parts, like what you do before an event, what you do during an event, and what you do after an event to kind of on social media to kind of bring all of the communication together. Because clearly, obviously, you're not just doing social media. I mean, you are, but the show is really based around all kinds of different communication styles. So can you talk a little bit about how you integrate with the other parts of the business and how you're doing that pre-work? So that's now, right? So right now you're kind of in that pre-work stage. Can you talk a little bit about how you do that?
Yeah. So we're constantly working year round, and that's probably the biggest question that I get is, oh, you work for the rodeo year round. What are you doing the rest of the time? Well, you know, we're a year-round charity as well. So I work a lot with our ed programs department. You know, we have given out $24 million in educational support to the youth of Texas over the last year. And so during our summer, which is kind of our off season, but it's our on season for our charitable givings, you know, I'm working with our ed programs department to get the word out about our scholarships and about all of the different programs in Houston that we work with and kind of give funds to and support. I am managing and building our year-round editorial calendar that we kind of keep up with and lay out our full year and see, you know, what we're doing in the off season, and then building in, which is right now kind of getting started on all of that. You know, and then just from a rodeo standpoint, you know, we're constantly working with all the different departments, from livestock to rodeo to the commercial exhibits, from the communications coordinator who writes all of our press releases, and our media coordinator, and just kind of all functioning as one big group to make sure that the rodeo happens and year round.
Yeah. So do your social media accounts, I mean, which are very well, I mean, you have a huge amount of likes and on all of your channels. How do you keep the interest in the off season? Like, I mean, it seems that people would only be paying attention to you like when it's getting close and they want to know who is going to be the next star that's going to, you know, come and sing at the rodeo or whatever. So can you tell us a little bit of how you're keeping people engaged during this off season?
Absolutely. That's kind of one of my favorite things to do is right after rodeo, look through all of the great things that we did, kind of build a collection of awesome pictures, engaging content, things we can post in the off season, try to get our fans thinking about us a couple of times a week, but not necessarily in their news feed 14 times a day. We are centered around some major times for our social channels, one being our star announcement, which we've gotten multiple tweets this summer. When is star announcement? I can't wait. Who's going to be there? And we'll engage with fans. We'll say, hey guys, who do you want to see at rodeo this next year? And then it's like bam, 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 like just constantly people tweeting. So being able to ask questions, poll our audience, we try to build up a little bit of like video content that we can keep and throw out during the summer and during the early fall. Just really making sure that the content is engaging and likable and shareable. That's a huge thing. We want to make sure that what we're posting is shareable, that it's going to make a fan want to share that with their audience, and then help the reach and the impressions on that post.
So give us some of the tips of how you're doing that. So give us some like hard examples. I think, we talked about contests and other things, but can you give us some hard examples about how you're keeping your engagement high during the season?
During the season?
Right now.
Oh, right now. Cami mentioned contesting is huge. We've always got a large supply of branded merchandise that we're able to give away. Incentives are a big thing for people to participate. And so one of the things that, we try to do is have a contest at least once or twice a month in the off season, whether that's an enter to win, join our mailing list, which then that automatically puts people in our marketing mailing list. We can then retarget and market to those people through Facebook custom audiences, remarketing tools from our website. And let's see, a firm example. So we're really, really lucky to be able to get some great autographed merchandise from some of our entertainers. And we're not always able to give that out during the show. Just constantly, as you can imagine, we're just constantly engaging. But one fun thing we did was we went through and we pulled our inventory of all the things that we had left. And this summer we put together the Ultimate Rodeo Houston merchandise pack. And we had people enter to win. We did a enter to win through an application called Short Stack, which then put people directly into our marketing mailing list. And that was the biggest thing that we did all summer long. That was everybody.
I saw the picture of the winners.
Yeah, everybody wanted their autographed, Jason Aldean hat, or their autographed. We had some leftover Brooks and Dunn stuff from many years ago. So it's a lot of fun to be able to do that. So one thing that we make sure we do is that we have the budget to be able to purchase also branded merchandise to be able to give away on contests. And so if you're able to have a budget for that kind of thing, I highly suggest for your event that you do get like fun koozies or fans or pins that you can give away to people. Exactly, and then you can use them, we're using them during rodeo, but then you can use them all throughout the year in the off season too.
I love tips like that because it's stuff that you can kind of one shot use, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the stuff at the show, then you can use that on into so how many people, can I ask how many people signed up for your mailing list through that contest?
Oh, a little confidential there. No, I'm kidding. We probably had a couple thousand people that entered through the post. Our mailing list has grown immensely over the last couple of years, which is really a great thing to have because, we're aimed at selling tickets during a certain amount of time. And so we can send email notices to our fans instantly in their inbox when tickets go on sale with a link directly to that. And then we also, I'm not sure, we use MailChimp. And so we're also able to use for iPad signups, Chimpity-Doo, which is their app. And you can put a source code on there so you can actually find out where that person signed up. So if we're going, which we've talked about, we have like an on-site social media hub. Yes,
let's do that. That was good. No, it's good. I was going to say, now we're moving on into what you do during the show. Yes. Let's talk about that because I think we're there. Yes. So let's talk about the show.
Awesome. So we started a social media hub, an on-site presence on the grounds where fans can come and engage with us. and they're run by myself and very awesome, bright, bubbly interns that we have come who engage with the public. Fans come in and they sign up to win season tickets through this Jimpity-Doo app that we have on our iPads, and we can go back and see who signed up from the social media hub from the last few years, and then maybe re-email out to those people, hey, don't forget to come by and see us again at the social media hub. We're gonna have a great photo booth again where you can come in and take pictures. It'll make you an automated GIF that you can then share on your social outlets and text to your friends and email them to them. So having that on-grounds presence has been huge. We also use it for contesting and for, hey, we got tickets to Blake Shelton tonight. Do you want to win them? Come find the social media hub and say, I love Blake Shelton, and then the first person wins. So people love to see themselves on our social channels. And so making sure that we're taking pictures of winners and we're taking random pictures of fans and, blasting it all out on all of our channels so that they're excited and they share it and they're interested and come back and see us.
And the GIF thing is kind of interesting. How are you doing the GIFs? What's the technology you're using for that?
Yeah, we've been using a photo booth company that we rent from, and it's just built into that. I mean, it's a photo booth that takes 4 pictures, and then it goes to an iPad, and it creates a automated GIF that you can text, email, tweet out. You can also print a hard copy picture. So when we started the social media hub in 2012, which was my first rodeo, but this is not my first rodeo. That was my first rodeo. It was more of a kind of place where people could come. We wanted to make it aware that we have these social channels, what our hashtag was, how you like us on Facebook, how you interact with us on Twitter. We hadn't started Instagram yet by that point, I don't think. But then it built into, okay, well, we were kind of lost amongst all of the rest of the commercial exhibitors, so we really got this great space inside of NRG Center that now we're front and center and people can come and interact, and we wanted to make it an experience more than just a place where you come up and walk and get a free koozie. So we decided to have a photo booth in there, and we filmed some stuff in there, which we'll talk about maybe a little bit. I get ahead of myself sometimes, but yeah, it's just been really great. And I really, that's another tip. Like, if your event can have people managing a booth that you're able to put people in that can talk about your event, can talk about your company, can really express the excitement that you want your audience to have on grounds during your event, definitely do it. It has been massive for us. We've actually been able to go to the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas and have an on-site booth there as well during what they call Cowboy Christmas. And that was really fun to interact with more fans outside of Houston and to kind of get them excited about coming down and seeing us in March and coming to, the good old rodeo.
Right, and what I love about that is that you're building an audience over time, and not only that, but I love that you're tagging them with the MailChimp app so that where they came from. So you can say, hey, this person's been coming back to this thing for years, and you can give them content based on that because you can segment that in your email. One of the things you talked about, I'm going to slow down and make sure we don't get past it, was retargeting. And we've been talking about that a lot here lately. How many people know what retargeting is? Okay, so a quarter. So I want to make sure we're clear on what that is. So retargeting on Facebook, and you can do it in other places too, but Facebook is very powerful. Can you explain what retargeting it is and how you're using it?
I'm probably going to hopefully not say some technical words the wrong way, but we're able to retarget through Facebook custom audiences because we can go and obviously target to the people who like our page, but then we can go and we've got a link that's connected to our website. So anybody that has gone and visited rodeohouston.com and they have a Facebook page, it then tells us through Facebook custom audiences, and we can target to those people who visit our website that maybe necessarily don't like us on Facebook. And then, you're also able to dive down, like we can target rodeo fans that don't necessarily like Rodeo Houston, like on Facebook. You can upload all of your emails from MailChimp, which is what we do. And yeah, it's been a great tool, especially, you know, if we have a certain artist that we're looking to push a little more, we can go and find if they like that artist on Facebook, but they also like our page, and then we can go on and you know, target those specific promoted posts just to them.
So it's a very powerful tool to use, and of course that requires a little bit of advertising money. So can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, obviously a lot of what you're doing is organic and cool and very PR-ish, but how are you? What kind of budget do you have for advertising, and so sort of how do you sell that in? You know, I mean, I'm sure they're used to things like billboard and other kinds of advertising. So how do you sell that in to your management?
Just in the last couple of years, we've been able to get a year-round promotional budget just for engagement, pure engagement through social channels, which has been an amazing thing to be able to have. Before, we just had advertising from our advertising department, and that was money that was allocated just for ticket sales. While yes, we want to sell tickets, and we do that really well, but at the same time, we also want to have different things that we can put out year-round, maybe have nothing to do with ticket sales, that we want you know, our fans to really appreciate and really push, such as like our educational programs and our scholarships, or maybe just a really awesome like photo that we found of a cowboy, you know, with a great ride. I mean, just something really engaging that we know will really work. So we've got this year-round budget that has been approved, and we allocate those funds differently. You know, our fiscal year just started, so I'm kind of starting to work on this 2016 budget and how we're going to allocate all of those. We've got different things that we can put that towards. A lot of it happens during show or right before. So for example, like our star announcement that happens in January, we're able to use that budget for that instance, which really helps us get the reach and the engagement with fans through that time. That's the biggest event that we have besides the rodeo. That was our largest day online on social media. Hashtag Rodeo Houston trended worldwide, which was so amazing. I mean, that I get goosebumps still thinking about it, because I was sitting in my office and it was, we announced after midnight. So I'm at my office at like 1 in the morning, and I just screamed and I ran down the hall to my boss and I was like, we just trended worldwide, you know, like this is so awesome. So it's really nice to be able to have a little bit of funds that you can put towards posts that you really want people to see and to engage with, and that was a really awesome to be able to do that this last year.
Besides that really big post, like on average, how much would you like? You have a big page, so it's over $1 million. How many
We've got about 470,000 likes.
Oh, 470,000 likes. But total, like you have
about 600,000.
600,000. So like right under. So how much would you spend like on a post? Like, would you say $20 for the next 24 hours? Can you just explain like how much you'd spend on a post?
I'm not going to lie. I work with my consultants who kind of allocate that. You know, I do keep the budget though. So if it's, you know, if it's a video that we want to run for a couple days, a couple $100 to run for 48 hours, just to kind of help with that. We've been doing this rodeo slow-mo video promotion that we found these awesome clips that our studio did, put them in 15-second videos. And I don't know if you have gone on the Rodeo Houston Facebook page, but I just posted one 2 days ago. And within less than 24 hours, it had like 40,000 views on the video, which was really, really awesome to see. Again, moving into video is a lot of fun, but also for something such as like our educational programs or our scholarship, you know, I would say if we're going to run it for 2 days, $200 to $300.
Because yeah, I know it's different for it depends on how big your following is and how much reach you want. Because if you have a smaller group, like some of you out here may be much smaller than 500,000 likes, and some of my clients are too. So, you know, you can rent, it depends, it scales depending on the size of your client. So like if you have a smaller client, you can really get away with, you know, 20, 25, $30 to get, you know, a couple thousand views of something, which I think is very useful to kind of keep in mind. So I just wanted to get your budget so we could see like the sliding part. So don't feel like you have to spend.
No.
Yeah, you don't have to spend 200 every couple weeks, but it depends on the size of your audience, and you will spend more as you have a bigger audience. So that's great. Could you talk a little bit? Let's go to the thing you wanted to talk about before, which is How do you engage with the stars during the rodeo and use that content?
We're really blessed in the sense that, we've got some great relationships with some of these artists and some of their management. So one thing that we do is on star announcement, we reach out to all of their individual digital teams or their publicists or what have you, and make sure that those artists have our hashtag. They have our link to our website that's customized for them. We use came from codes so that we can see who came from codes. So it's a specific ticket link that has a little code at the end that we can then go back in on the other side and see who clicked that specific link. So
who generates those? Can you be a
we use Axis for our ticketing system, but before it was Ticketmaster. And so we work with the ticketing company on setting up those came from codes. And yeah, so being able to make sure that, that all of the artists, we had some really fun engagement. Miranda Lambert did like a little Who Loves Texas, show me how much you love it, use hashtag Rodeo Houston on Instagram. She did a little video for us. Hunter Hayes did a really great Armed Forces Appreciation Day post for us last year. We've had some fun engagement with like Chris Young, and then in the last couple of years, we've been able to take that a little further and kind of bridge the gap between our audience and the stars with this fun little video that we've been doing called Meet and Tweet, which I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit more. But we've been able to, every night, if the artist is willing to do it, we've been able to go in and tweet out to our fans, hey, we're talking to Blake Shelton tonight. Do you have a question for him? Now's your chance. Tweet it to us using hashtag Rodeo Houston, and we might ask it to him on camera. You get hundreds of questions back, and then we'll ask Blake that question on camera. Our social media correspondents do a great job of interviewing these stars, and that has been so much fun to watch fans be able to engage with these artists on a maybe not personal level, but to them it's a personal level because he's hearing your handle, the star's answering your question. And so that's been a lot of fun to be able to do. So definitely like being able to engage with any type of entertainment that's at your event, or any type of maybe, like local star that might come, or anything. Being able to communicate with them on social media has been awesome. Two years ago, we actually tweeted back and forth with Tim McGraw a couple of times, just organically, he was saying how excited he was to be there, and then we were like, oh, we can't wait for tonight, and so being able to go back and forth, that was really awesome for our fans to see. So that's been a lot of fun. We try to keep track of who has done what for us, and we've had a really big success with all of our artists this last year. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
So taking advantage of what you have on the ground, I think that's a really cool tip. So we may not have Tim McGraw or somebody like that, but certainly there's people in every industry and every show that people are interested in hearing from. And if you can get just really quick sound bites from them, just pull out your phone and ask them a couple of questions, right? And then get that out there. And now there's some great ways to do that. There's so many places you can send video out. Are you guys going to be using things like Periscope and some of the newer stuff at this next rodeo? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
We've talked about it. Periscope kind of came out just during rodeo last year, so we really didn't have a chance to work with it. We've mentioned it a lot. We've been kind of looking into it. Hopefully we'll be able to, work with it this year. I think it would be really fun for people. We're already kind of taking them behind the scenes. So Periscope looks like a great tool. I'm really excited to learn more about it and hopefully be able to use it. Blab, yeah, Blab sounds really cool too. I just heard about it today as I got here, but I'm really interested to learn more about that. And that would be something really cool that, you can engage with all different people that are a part of your event, and possibly even be able to pull in, some of those local influencers that can really help, get the word out about your event for that type of thing.
So as things are kind of like, going along and during the show, can you tell me a little bit about like what a day is like in the life of Betsy during the show? Usually an event is hugely busy, but can you kind of give us an idea of like, it sounds like you have interns, but during the normal year you just have you. So can you kind of explain how the staff changes and sort of what just give us some insight?
Absolutely. You know, rodeo's a time where I don't sleep very much, which is nice because then I get to sleep afterwards. But you know, for me, we're there in the morning. I'm checking to see what happened while I was sleeping. If nothing drastic happened, you know, so checking our notifications on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, answering customer service. I don't know if we were going to talk about that, but customer service, especially for an event, you know, you should be doing it if you're a business, but especially for an event, is massive. I mean, we've learned some lessons through social media, and people like to go there and ask questions or maybe, you know, air some frustrations, which is understandable. But being able to really sit down and answer people, I do that every morning and every night before I leave. I go through, I answer all of our messages that we get on Facebook, all of our direct tweets. Any comments that people maybe made that I can answer. We also have a social questions inbox that we're constantly getting questions from. So that's really what I do in the beginning and end of my day. During, you know, we've got certain things that are happening every day. So just really making sure that I have a schedule lined out and then I know what's happening on the grounds that day, whether it's the steer auction, which is the largest auction that we have, or, you know, whether like something fun's happening at the carnival, you know, I mean, it might be a beautiful day and it might be a great time to go out and get a picture of the Ferris wheel with a beautiful sky behind it. So really just making sure that we kind of know what's happening that day. We've also started this video content called Rodeo Houston Unplugged. And so I kind of act as producer for that. So scheduling interviews, making sure our social correspondents and our video people are where they need to be, and that we're starting on time and finishing on time. And then we're turning that edit around, and then posting that video that day.
That's interesting to me. Yeah. So Rodeo Houston Unplugged. Rodeo Houston Unplugged was a really interesting idea to me. So you guys do live interviews right at the rodeo and turn them around in less than 24 hours. Right there on the spot. So, and you use some of that later. So can you talk a little bit about that, what it is and sort of how it shows up, what channels it kind of comes on?
Absolutely. The idea kind of came up a few years ago to have some on-site social media correspondents, and we were maybe just going to make it be like a thing that happened inside the stadium. So like, much like the Orange Room for the Today Show, we'd throw it to the social media correspondents and they talk about how we're trending in Houston and how many people are tweeting about us, And then that kind of turned into, well, wouldn't that be really fun if we could produce videos and put them up on our social channels and have people watch it that maybe aren't here and they can see what's happening and go behind the scenes. And so it really turned into more of a daily video series that has just been so much fun to be a part of. You know, we try to do things that are maybe behind the scenes that people would know, like how the stage rolls out every night. That's kind of interesting. I mean, because we were in the same stadium as the Texans, but we bring in thousands of pounds of dirt. And how does this massive rotating stage roll out every day? Oh, okay, here, let's go interview somebody and then do a video about it and show everybody how this works. And then the artist interviews every night are a part of that too. So that's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. We've got one guy that comes in and videos all this for us, and then he goes and sits and edits for a few hours, and then we've got a video, and you know, we do some rough cuts and some really great quality stuff comes out of it. And so we upload. Before we were just uploading straight to YouTube, so the first year we did that. But then since video has become its own platform on Facebook and Twitter, we've really now we upload straight to Facebook. So the actual video content, not the YouTube link, which auto plays in people's news feeds. And so then you can see, you know, did they watch through the first 5 seconds, which is, I mean, if you don't catch their attention in the first 5 seconds with a video, then it's going to trail off because it'll auto play. And did they click on it? And how many other videos did they watch? And then we upload to YouTube. So we post the YouTube link to Twitter. And we haven't really worked with the Twitter video played during this last rodeo, but we might actually look into doing that this year now that Twitter auto plays in your newsfeed as well.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite tools for that is OneLoad, and you can upload one video up to OneLoad, and it syndicates it out to all the channels. FYI. Yeah. So anyway, it's a really great thing. That's great. And so that video, you have all these slow-mos too that you're using during the off season. So kind of explain how you use some of this content that you make. I mean, you make just tons of content during rodeo. So can you explain like how you use it afterwards?
Yes.
We're moving into after, just in case you didn't get that.
Absolutely. I think last month at this, Mark said there's a tsunami of content. Absolutely. And I think I tweeted out, we can understand that. You know, if you've got a lot of content, even if your event is small, build it as much as you can and then go into it. So for us, you know, we've got a wonderful studio that can make us some video clips. So we're using that as part of engaging content, trying to keep us in people's minds, but not necessarily, like I said, throwing it in their face 15 times a day. So, you know, I just try to collect as much as I can right after rodeo, and then we'll come up with ideas such as this rodeo slow-mo, which has been really fun. And we post those every other week.
Explain like that slow-mo and sort of what kind of content that you're putting there.
Absolutely. So those are different rides. By rides, I mean like in the rodeo. So we've done like a bareback rider or a bull rider, a barrel racer going around the barrel. We try to find the most intense part of the ride, and then our studio has like slowed it down, and you can see the grit in the guy's face, and you can see the intensity in the barrel racer's eyes as she's turning the corner. That, to me, I mean, I nerd out on that stuff. I mean, that is just so cool to be able to watch these people do this. So yeah, they've done really well. It's been a lot of fun to kind of go through and help find that footage. But we've got a couple more coming out in the next couple weeks, so we'll see how those go.
Yeah. That's great. So using what you have to kind of put it together. And so when you collapse in exhaustion at the end of the rodeo and you go sleep for a week, after that week is over, can you explain a little bit about how that runs from there? So you lose all of your interns, I'm assuming, at that point, and everything kind of slows down. So how do you keep the excitement going like right after rodeo?
So we do a big wrap release the day after rodeo's over, and in that it has all kinds of stats and facts and figures, like how many hot dogs were eaten, or you know, all kinds of how many cowboy hats were sold, how many chocolate covered bacon things. So you know, the week after rodeo is still pretty engaging, still pretty post heavy for the most part. And then, you know, we just kind of like slow down. We thank a lot of people, post like some wrap up really fun pictures of what the grounds looked like. Just a whole lot of thanks for coming, our attendance numbers. And then, you know, kind of mid-April is when it starts slowing down a little bit more. So it's a gradual process to kind of trail it all off at the end, but the excitement's always there. Anytime, you know, anytime something comes up that, you know, has to do with rodeo, I see a lot of people really interact with it. So anytime you post something about your event, even if it's, you know, a day long, keep posting about it, because you want people to know so that next year that they're so excited and remember to come to it.
So that being said, I do want to open it up to some questions, because I mean, I know that, there's some right away. So yes. How do you use your mailing list effectively?
Good question. That is a great question. We use our mailing list for blasting out information about the big things that people want to know. So our star announcement, ticket sales, even more ticket sales, and then information about like, you know, our scholarship recipients and all types of things. But one of the things that we really try to do is make sure that the content in our newsletters are visually friendly as well as mobilely active. And so being able to not read a bunch of content, but click on something and it take you to a page on your website. Because I don't know about you guys, but whenever I get newsletters in my inbox, if it's really word heavy, I kind of don't pay attention to it. So making it very visually appealing has been great. We see a lot more click-throughs and finalized in our reports through MailChimp from things that are a little more visual heavy than text heavy.
Speaking of that, like how do you, just a follow up on that, how is your open rate and your click-through rate? Like what are those looking like?
Yeah, I didn't really study up on that, but you know, we've got, oh, I don't want to even lie to you right now. If you want to know that, just come get my card and I'll talk to you afterwards. I know, no, that's okay.
Another question over here. How do you measure your ROI?
You know, we take emails from our ticket people when they buy tickets, so we compare ticket lists. Another thing we use is these came from codes, which I talked about earlier. So we're able to go back through and see if that Facebook ad click. So for the came from codes, if they click that link, it follows them all the way through the finalization of the ticket purchase. So we're able to see how many tickets were sold through a specific promoted post, Facebook organic post, you know, maybe even from a link on our website. So using came from codes, if your event has a ticket company that you work with, just ask them about, you know, specialized codes that you can then track on the back end how many people purchased through that outlet.
And you can hack that because you can use the URL builder and do just Google URL builder, and Google has a thing where you take your link, you put it in, and it adds that. Have you ever seen the question mark? And then it says UTM, and it has all these different things behind it. You can make a link like that and then put it into Bitly or shorten it anywhere you want to, and then put it on your thing, and then your back end of Google Analytics will follow that specific link. So you can actually see how many people. So you can hack that, and if anybody is like, how do you do that again? Come talk to me because you can hack that. You can hack it. Or if you have a really great ticket company, they'll do it for you, which is amazing. And I saw a question back here. Yes.
How do you allocate your funds to different social media channels?
How do you allocate your funds to different social media channels?
That is a really good question too. We look at our overall budget for the year and then look at the different audiences. Facebook is huge for us. We do spend quite a bit of our budget on Facebook. And then, you know, we'll look at what do we want, what will work more effectively on Twitter. And for that, it's ticket links and, you know, promoting a video or a link back to the website, something of that nature. But for the most part, I think we just kind of look and see what will be most effective on Facebook and then decide how much we want to spend on each of those posts and what's going to be the most, have the most effective, yeah, thank you. And so just really kind of laying it all out, looking at it all as a whole instead of trying to decide in the moment how much you need to spend on here and how much you need to spend on here, really kind of allocate it all at once if you can. And then just know that there's going to be room to move around and that you might not always use that same number every time.
And as of this week, we have Instagram advertising. So what? That just happened. So I saw somebody over here, yeah.
I'm curious what tools you use for customer service and social listening.
So what kind of tools are you using for social listening? We actually talked about this, so this is a good question. So let's talk about that.
We obviously use, you know, the Facebook Insights and the Twitter analytics. Those are really great tools to use. But outside of that, we've used a company this past year called Nuvi, N-U-V-I. It is amazing. I don't know if anybody has looked at it, but it is really good. And the reports are beautiful, and they make them for you. And my boss really loves reports. And so I can, at the end of the day, click report, print it out, and put it on her desk at the end of every day, you know, or at the end of rodeo. And she can see very clearly the number of impressions, the number of mentions, the number of positive posts versus negative, and who is our highest influencers, and engagement rates and reach and all of that stuff. So we have used Radian 6 in the past, but we just kind of went into using Nuvi this past year. Other than you know, just your generic through Facebook and Twitter, and then, you know, we use Google Analytics obviously for other things. But yeah, those are the ones we use.
Yeah, and I got to take a look at Newbie this week because of Betsy. I went and looked at it because why not? And the cool thing about the reports too that I saw was that you can actually click into them and change and edit them, so you can put your own insights in there about what the report means, which I thought was very awesome. And but it isn't cheap, so you know, it's more for enterprise. It starts at about $500 a month, so just FYI. So that would be the only thing. Sprout Social, a lot of people in a smaller team love Sprout Social and their reports. That's more like $30 a month. So, and it allows you to also schedule, as does Newbie. Newbie allows you to schedule as well, and you can actually answer people. So like for customer service, it's really good. So for something like Rodeo or any kind of bigger group, and if you're spending more than 10 hours a month doing reporting, it'll pay for itself. Do you know what I'm saying? Just look at your hourly rate, and like even $500, it sounds expensive, but if you can get it done in 30 seconds, you know, so don't forget to look at that. Other questions? You have one? Here, yes.
What are your thoughts on like the slow-mo on Instagram? Did you put that on every platform, or is that a specific Instagram campaign?
Yeah.
What did you think about the slow-mo on Instagram?
We put them on all of our outlets, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram just now made it so awesome because you can have horizontal videos and pictures. So before I was like, you know, we didn't make a square version, and I was like, oh, how am I going to get this to all fit in? Because we included our hashtag and then a brand on there. Always include. This is a tip that I don't know if everybody does this, but I always include our hashtag on any graphic that I put out or any video that we put out, photo, yeah. And yeah, so it's worked really great on Instagram because it auto plays, and it just looks really cool whenever you're scrolling through and you see a video start, and the sound, even if it doesn't have sound with it. I mean, I know me personally, I can just sit and watch all the cool things that pop up. Yeah, it's really awesome.
No, it's great. So, any other questions? No. Okay, great. No, I mean, there's a lot. And so please come on up and ask if you think of something at the end. You can come up and talk to Betsy about it. You're going to stay for just a few minutes? Yeah. Okay, great. And she'll answer your questions. But let's give her a big hand for coming and sharing with us how she does this huge task by herself. Amazing. Yeah. So I really appreciate all of you guys being out here. And next month, we're going to have a great program and hopefully no rain. So I'm going to order no rain for everybody. And it's going to be really exciting. We're going to have some embassies from Houston. Houston is one of the largest consular corps in the United States. And they're going to be talking about crisis communication on social media. And, you know, right now I can tell you we're going to have the Israeli embassy and maybe, I think, the French. So maybe we'll talk to Charlie Hebdo and, like, you know, what happens when people really, truly hate you online? How do you manage that? So crisis communication at the next level, you know? So, but I think we'll get something out of it as crisis managers too, because, you know, you have to be very calm and calculated when you're online and not let things get to you. So I'm really excited about next month. And then I'm starting to plan December. How many of you have done the gift of guidance before with us? Could you raise your hand? Oh, wow, not as many. So what we do every year is we give a consultation to nonprofits in Houston during this hour in December. And all of us come just like we do now. And I have table leaders, but you don't have to be a professional to do this. You come and you sit with a nonprofit and you brainstorm their digital for the next year. And at the end of it, they walk away with some ideas and a little bit of a plan for how to kind of handle it. So I'm going to be starting to look for nonprofits, table leaders, all that kind of stuff. I'm just warning you because it's going to start coming out in email and everywhere else. And so also, speaking of email, if you aren't on our email list, I do send out an email before each one of these letting you know it's coming up. And all you have to do is go to our Facebook page in our About section and click on the link. Also, I also have an app in there, so if you see the thing that says sign up at the top, you just click sign up, and you can put your email in there, and you will get our emails. We do not spam. We hardly, in fact, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got the email. So I'm not going to spam you. Trust me, I don't have time for that.
Huh? Say that to people
Yeah,
too. We're not going to spam you.
I'm not going to spam you. So I don't have time to spam you. So it could happen. So but I do try to keep you guys aware of what's going on there. So if you can sign up there, that would be great. in case Facebook changes something and I can no longer contact you via Facebook anymore. That happens every week. So anyway, thank you so much for coming. And next month, we'll be here again, second Friday, 8:30 a.m. And great to see you all. Be careful on the way home. Take care. And thank you, audience out there. Bye. Say bye to the internet.
Bye, Internet.
Say 1, 2.